Welcome to Opening Doors, our brand new ONPHA podcast. My name is Tarun George. I'm the manager of partnerships at ONPHA, and it's the second day at the ONPHA Conference 2023. We have about 900 people here at the Sheraton Centre in downtown Toronto, and the energy is fantastic. I'm joined here by David Rourke, who is the principal and co-founder of Round Table Procurement Services. David, you've been attending our conference now for several years, since about 2018, I think?
Yeah, at least that long, yeah.
Why do you keep coming back? What is it about this conference that you enjoy so much?
Well, it's getting to spend time with you, Tarun. Obviously, it's a long list that goes beyond the coffee and snacks and swag that everybody loves. But some of my favorite things just are being able to get caught up on some of the topics of the day in nonprofit housing. I've been working in the nonprofit sector for 20 years, but relative newbie to nonprofit housing. So getting information from some of the sessions is really great, really helpful. It's also a chance to connect with a lot of the people I've been working with virtually for so long. It's nice to put faces to emails and be able to shake hands and talk to a few people that we've been trying to help. And then finally, with the trade show and the vendor setup and being in procurement, of course, that's a big area of focus for me. And so being able to talk to some of our vendor partners is really helpful.
Now you've been talking about smart procurement for several years now. You've done a few sessions on that in past years. Why is that so critical for housing providers in particular?
Yeah, I mean it's critical for everybody, right? But I think it's I'll say finally getting some of the spotlight it deserves. I mean, it goes beyond the obvious, which is the savings piece of it. No one has extra budget to throw around, I don't think, and so getting the best value for money is clearly a reason to think about managing your procurement well. But there's the other savings you can get, which is around time. I don't think people are looking forward to spending time on things they don't really need to, like renegotiating contracts or snow removal or they're looking for furniture to buy or appliances, anything. It's just not in a lot of core jobs for people, and so looking for ways to manage that well just saves you time. And then finally, there's a lot of scrutiny on the nonprofit sector and other sectors around how money is spent, especially funded money. And so having good procurement process, transparent vendor selection, it's important right now, and it's important from a risk management perspective as well.
I think those are recurring issues for the housing industry, right?
Yeah.
Savings on time, savings on money,
and then everyone's stretched.
And the scrutiny on funded money. You did a session yesterday on the value of shared services, and we know a big theme at this conference is collaboration.
Yeah.
Particularly shared services for smaller housing providers.
Yeah.
Talk more about that, and how does that help smaller housing providers?
Yeah, I mean, we'd all love to have access to these wonderful resources, whether it's procurement or IT or HR or finance, and sometimes you're just not of a scale to have all of that expertise in-house. It just doesn't make sense. It's not feasible. So where you can collaborate and, if possible, share in some of that, some of those services, get access to some of those resources, it allows an expansion of capacity that you wouldn't otherwise have available. I mentioned about saving money. Of course, collaboration in the world of procurement can lead to some better volume, which can lead to some better pricing. So that's clearly a big piece of it.
I love the idea of a smaller housing provider accessing the collective buying power of the wider group. That's the whole point of what we try to do here at ONPHA. Are there any examples you can give us of smart procurement, like procurement done really well, maybe through a shared service model like that? Yeah,
well, I mean, one that's close to home for you and the ONPHA team. We just, with the impending end of mortgage and end of funding issues that are hitting the sector, the ONPHA team wanted to get out ahead of that and find some service providers that could help their membership. So just this past summer, we ran a group request for proposals, RFP process, to pre-qualify and find some, the best of the best consultants out there to help with manage members through some of these issues. Really robust, transparent RFP process. Members of the sector were involved in the process. So great example of collaboration and frankly getting a lot of work done that would have been even more work had every member housing provider had to do that themselves.
That's right.
We went through that process, found some great service providers that I think will really benefit the sector.
Okay. Well, we're here on the trade show floor. As I said before, there's 60 plus organizations, different companies that are all providing housing services and solutions and products for our members. And many of those companies are part of our group purchasing program, now rebranded to ONPHA Enterprise.
Yeah.
It replaces our legacy programs, Best Deals, ONPHA Select. And what you might not know is that David and his team at Round Table Procurement Services manage ONPHA Enterprise for us on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
David, talk more about ONPHA Enterprise itself. Maybe give us a little bit of an introduction to the program and how it's different from what we had before at ONPHA.
Yeah, I mean, we've taken, I think we've taken what you had with ONPHA Select and Best Deals, and I think just expanded that and really built on top of it with what we do very well, which is procurement expertise. And so what that means is we've been able to bring in some additional suppliers. It's difficult to expand those kind of programs quickly unless this is what you do all day, every day, like we do. So we're able to bring in some additional preferred vendor arrangements that have added on to the portfolio of suppliers. So that's one thing. I think too, we're bringing in our relationships with other nonprofit organizations we work with. And from a supplier's perspective, that's even more volume that can be leveraged together. So I would say the deals can get better and better the more we have. And then finally, members not only have access to these preferred vendors, but also to a suite of procurement services from my team, where it might not always align with, just being able to go to a simple group vendor deal, for example.
Right. Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about that. So
Yeah.
there are some products and services like paint or hardware or,
Sure.
or things like that
Yeah.
where you can negotiate a simple deal that's a group purchasing deal and that you're off to the races.
Yeah.
There are other things like larger capital projects, facilities, property management, things that you have to tender out for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How can ONPHA Enterprise help with those kinds of solutions?
Yeah, it's a great question and a great differentiator, I think, for Enterprise versus previous programs. I think we'd be naive to think we could accommodate everyone's needs by having pre-negotiated vendor deals sitting there. We're doing our best to have as much coverage as possible, but there'll always be something that is a little more customized. And so we have the ability, as I say, we do for a living, to run customized processes, typically RFP, but it could be in other more creative ways around contract renegotiation or discussion with vendors, or even advice on how to deal with suppliers that are more suited to a customized need rather than something that's already pre-cooked, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, I think about some of these larger capital projects. I mean, I'm thinking about elevators, for example.
Yeah.
Extremely complicated contracts.
Sure.
And those are the kinds of things that you guys can help with. You've got more specialized expertise in that area.
Yeah, I mean, we have, it's a good crossover category because we have a couple of pre-ready supplier arrangements in elevators, one for ongoing maintenance with TKE elevators, and another for audit services and consulting. But what if you need a major retrofit or you need a new elevator replacement? Those are things that you may want to go to tender for, go to RFP for, and we can help with that as a customized project.
And I think you've done that for several of our members already.
Well, we've done it for many charities and nonprofits. We've done elevator RFPs or your financial auditors or consultants. I mean, anything that's more of a customized need that isn't available through Enterprise, we can help source.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If any of our members listening into this, if you'd like to get onto ONPHA Enterprise, simply just go to our website, click the ONPHA Enterprise tab, and follow the process there to sign up. It's very easy. You'll be connected directly to David and his team, and you can see all of the deals and discounts that are already negotiated, as well as the ones that, as we just spoke about, that may need more of a